Okay, I have no idea what was going on there, but we seem to be back to normal now. With a nice steady stream. It's frustrating, isn't it? So I'm just firing software back up. And we're back in business. I shut down NordVPN. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it. If we hover over this, yeah, so NordLynx is showing no internet access, so that's not connected. Okay. Let's go and see if this is going to behave itself. Looks like it is. So finally, we can get the stream up and running. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so we're going to do a flight this evening from Mariscal to Chagual. So let's go and find the draggable piece of this. So there we go, you can see it on the map. So we're flying from Ecuador down to Peru. And I just thought it would be a good chance to go and have a fly of the Citation that everybody seems to be flying at the moment, but that's because it's so good. Okay, so I'm going to work through pre-flight with you and get the airplane ready to go. I've filed the flight plan with SimBrief, and let me just go and check the volume levels before we get going. It's looking good. SayIntentions is running in the background, so that's looking good as well. I think I've configured everything. So we've got the intercom showing co-pilot and cabin crew. That's all fine as well. Is there anything else we need to worry about? I don't think so. In terms of traffic, we're going to be using the traffic injection from SayIntentions, so we'll see what happens with that. So I'll minimize that out of the way. Okay, so if we go back inside the airplane and go to walk around mode, just to get things sorted out. So we're going to remove the chocks, remove the covers, remove the engine covers, and jump back inside the airplane, and then we can go and close the main door. Move the tablet out of the way a little bit. Is it going to let us? There we go. And if we go into Navigraph, oh, this doesn't pull in SimBrief, does it? So there's no point looking at that just yet. Okay, so we're going to go over to ground services, and we're going to attach the ground power to the aeroplane. And then DC power. So let's go and get rid of the yokes for the moment so we can see what we're doing. So we're going to go to external power. We're going to put the standby power to on. We're going to go and put the emergency lights to armed, if I can remember where they are, over here. And then the batteries can come on, battery 1, battery 2. ICAS can come on. So then on the lights, the main light can go to ground over here. Then APU system, we can go and turn the APU master switch on. APU start. Wait for ready to load to appear, and then we can get on with programming the aeroplane up. So Dad Game Time is saying, yes, I know it pulls in SimBrief. I've got it written into my instructions to program either manually or without it. So I'll show everybody how that works in a few moments. So we're just waiting. So we go ready for load. So generator on. And then back in the cockpit, we're going to go and put the avionics power on now. So you'll see the systems come up. Then down behind the throttles, down here, we're going to go and turn the INS system, the inertial reference system, to align on both sides. And then while we're waiting for that, we can go and program the flight. So we'll go and look over here, go to position initialization, wait for the GPS to appear, Oh, sorry, it's this side, isn't it? And load it, and then go into flight plan. And if we go into the nav menu, as we've just been told about, if we look in SimBrief, you have to put your ID in first, but then you can do a flight plan recall. So it's requesting it. Give it a few seconds. Here it comes. So it's put the basic plan in. If we then go to, we'll do the departure first. So if we go and have a look in SimBrief, I haven't actually got the browser window open, have I? So let's go over to SimBrief on the internet and go to the dispatch system and load our flight plan, view flight plan. So we are virtual 001 today. We are looking for the Tamo 3 Alpha, runway 36. So runway 36, and where is it? There's quite a number of these, aren't there? Tamo 3 Alpha, there it is. And activate. Okay, so performance initialization. You can go and have a look through this as well, and it should have brought the numbers in. It looks like it has, which is good. Confirm. Now, has this pulled fuel through? Does that reflect what the aeroplane's actually got? Let's go and have a look. Aircraft, flight performance, mass and balance, fuel. It's showing 50%. So if we confirm that, will it change the fuel load? No, it won't. Do you get to manipulate fuel in the tablet? Import. Oh, here we go. Import from SimBrief. There we go. So then we can apply that to the aeroplane. SimBrief data imported successfully. So those numbers should have changed. So it goes back to performance. Go to performance initialization. Next page. Next page. Next page. Confirm initialization. So cruise flight level 370 and up to 470, my word. Oh, that's the ceiling altitude. And then go to takeoff and have a look. That's all looking fine. Okay, so let's go back and have a look through the... What am I looking for here? Arrival. So we don't really have an arrival. We come in via this airway to Robig, and then it's direct into the runway, so we'll call the tower and ask for vectors. We're going to need to. Let me show you why. This is pretty scary, look. High mountains all the way around us, and quite a nasty route in, so it's going to be getting vectors and following them, I think, from the tower. So let's just check that. If we pull up Chagual in here, COM frequency, airport has no COM frequency. Okay, it's going to be own navigation. That's fine. So we're going to activate those changes anyway, and come in here and have a look through the legs and see if we've got any discontinuities en route. We probably won't have, I wouldn't have thought. So there's the destination, so it's all looking good to get there, at least. Okay. And you can see that's all programmed in now, and it's appearing on the navigation display, which would, I'm inclined to say, yeah, nav ready has appeared, so we can go to nav now. Okay, so having done that, we can go through the rest of the systems. So we've done the SimBrief configuration, so we're ready for engine start. So we're going to go over to the lights over here and put the nav lights on. We're going to put the seatbelt lights to passenger safety, which is something I've corrected on my checklist overnight, because I did some reading of the official documentation. I've got most things right. There's just tiny details here and there that I've improved upon. Okay, so then we're going to go and put the bleed air on. So there's also we only want that on. There's also a method to be able to start the second engine from bleed air from the first engine, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it the simple way. So this does have to be closed during the start procedure. So engine status display, we're going to go and press the ENG button, and you should see that we've got starting pressure of 47, so anything above 30 is good. So, I'm going to start the engines. So we're going to press... Now, before we do this, so because I've plugged throttles in, I'm going to cut these back to shut off, which you can do by clicking the back of them. So we're going to go right-hand engine start, and you'll watch the numbers coming up over here, and then we can lift the throttle out of shut off, and you can watch the numbers increasing. I'll discuss reverse thrust in a moment. I've just seen the question in the live stream about it. I'll get the engines running first and then I'll show you. Okay, so we have engine number 2 running. So engine number 1, start. So you'll see the numbers coming up. So you can see N2, that's the gas turbine. So then we can lift the throttle out of shut off and it will carry on through. So N2 is the gas turbine speed, the axle speed. N1 is the speed of the turbofan, and obviously ITT is inter-turbine temperature. So once the engines have stabilized, I'm just looking at my notes. So post engine start, we can go and turn the external power off because obviously we're generating electricity from the engines now. So the external power switch was here, so that can come off. And then we can go back to ground services and we can remove ground power from the aeroplane. Also, we don't need the APU anymore, it's done its job. So the bleed air can come off, the generator can come off, the APU can be shut down, so you'll see it spinning down, and we can turn the master switch off for the APU. Okay, so having done all of that, we can go and concentrate on the cockpit itself. So press comma to calibrate the altimeters, and then we're going to go over to the autopilot. So we're going to, this is interesting, look, because you've got some knobs up here, so you can look here to do this. So what's our initial climb altitude going to be today? Let's go and have a look. So we want an initial climb. Actually, we could get this from clearance, can't we? So let's go over to SayIntentions. They may have different instructions than our flight plan. That's all I'm thinking about. So we'll go to ATIS first.
Foxtrot. 2000
So
Zulu.
information is Foxtrot.
Wind 19
Okay, so then we can go to...
Visibility 6.
Now we don't have clearance,
Sky
so I'm guessing we
conditions.
go straight to
View
tower.
at 4,000 feet. Temp.
We're talking to Mariscal Tower. So Mariscal Tower, virtual 001 with information Foxtrot requesting clearance to Chagual. Are they going to come back to us? Are they busy? Let's go and clear this while we're at it. So flight plan. Let's just check the frequencies. We went to 11835, didn't we? 11835 is showing. Let's just check that's working. Mariscal Tower, radio check. Mariscal Tower, virtual 001, requesting clearance to Chagual.
One second while I grab the paperwork.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I pressed the wrong button before. I don't have a pen in front of me to write it down, so I'm going to read the transcript from the screen.
Virtual 001, information Golf is current. Cleared to Chagual via the Condor Costa. Quito 4 Alpha departure, then as filed. Departure runway 18. Initial climb to 11, 1000. Departure on 121.2, squawk 4422.
Clear to Chagual via the Quito for Alpha departure, then as filed, departure runway 18, initial climb 11,000 feet, departure on 121.2, squawk 4422, virtual 001. So, important for us is squawk 4422, so we can do that straight away.
Virtual 001, read back correct. Ground will be on 121.9er.
44, whoops. Butterfingers. 22. Departure runway 18, initial climb 11,000 feet. So yeah, this comes into what we were talking about a moment ago. So, in the real aeroplane, the pilots...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard.
In the
this
real
flight with
aeroplane, you
Virtual
have to look
Airline.
at this
We
screen
are flying to
and
Chagual.
manipulate the knobs down
Please
here,
take your seats according
which
to
I
the
don't mind
boarding
doing because
passes
it's like the
and
real
store
thing.
your hand
But you've
luggage
also
in the
got these
overhead
little
bins
tricks up here,
or
look.
under the seats
So
in
there's an
front of you.
altitude knob here
If
we
you
can
require
use.
any assistance,
So you can see it
do
here.
not
So we're going to set
hesitate
that to
contact the crew.
11,000.
Thank you for your cooperation.
It's just to make things a little bit easier because the developers recognise it's a bit of a bugbear that you can't obviously hang your hand down the side of your body while looking at the screen in the simulator, or not so easily anyway. So they said we're taking off runway 18, so we're going to go and have a look at that on the map to begin with. So let's go and not do that. I guess we could have pulled it up here, couldn't we? So runway 18 is actually 182 degrees, so you can see here we're going to be taxiing all the way up there.
Lufthansa 26 Kilo, contact departure.
So the only reason I'm saying about this is we
Kilo,
want to go and set the heading bug
on
to 182 degrees.
121.2.
So I'm just spinning this round. Okay, we have 182 degrees. Okay, so we can set autopilot modes as required. So we can go for heading mode, we can also go for nav and VNav and vertical speed, and we can go and target, say, 2,500 feet a minute for the initial climb out. And we should be good to go with that. I'm just going to leave that alone. So that means it will capture the route as soon as it can. Okay, so then we're going to go and look at pressurization. So we know we're going up to 40,000 feet. So let me just zoom in on this with the key. So we're going to go and pre-program the pressurization system to go to 40,000 feet, and we're going to increase the rate of change on it a little bit to give it half a chance of getting there before we do. Okay, so then flight management computers and radios. So we've done the transponder. The comm radios look after themselves for SayIntentions. TCAS as required. So it's on normal, that's all fine. So then stab trim. This is something I forgot to do the other day. So let's go and have a look at this. So you can see as soon as I touched it, that's interesting, isn't it? So do we get some performance numbers for that in the system? I'm not sure if we do or not. If we look in weight, does it calculate anything for us? Nope. What about in the V-speeds? I wonder if there's any book numbers for it. We probably want 5 degrees flaps as well, don't we? So let's just check those are working. So yeah, we've got 5 degrees. So I'm guessing, now we've got the flaps in, we just need to be in the green area with the trim. Okay, so taxi light goes to on. I don't think we need pushback here, or maybe we do need pushback here. Yes, we do. So should we try it? Let's go and turn the taxi light back off for the moment.
Secretary, good afternoon to you. This is Papa Golf Juliet Mike Romeo Hotel.
Ground virtual 001 requesting pushback. Looks like an arrow, doesn't it?
Virtual 001, pushback approved, face northeast.
So we're not going to get much choice because we've only got the basic simulator pushback. I haven't got any plugins required. So we're going to end up with our tail that way, which I think is correct anyway. Let's go and have a look on the map. So we need to be facing northeast. So yeah, as long as our tail goes to that way, we'll be good. I'm just wondering why the tractor is coming in so gently. Oh, it's because we're moving. There we go. So which way are they going to push us? Yeah, they're going the right way. Always good. So as soon as pushback has happened, we can go and get the taxi lights on, put the recognition lights on, and we can go and taxi out to the runway.
Cabin crew, all doors in flight and cross-check.
And they've let us
Ladies and
roll.
gentlemen, welcome aboard this flight with Virtual Airline. We are flying from Mariscal Sucre International Airport to Chagual Airport. Our flight number is VFA 001. The captain for this flight is Jonathan, and the first officer is Amanda. Joining me in the cabin today are my fellow crew members, Camille, Luke, and Sophie. We are expecting a flight time of approximately 1 hour
we haven't got
and
all of these
24
cabin
minutes.
crew. It doesn't quite understand,
now
does
for your
it?
safety, please pay
It's quite
attention to
amusing.
the following safety briefing. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal tip into the buckle until you hear a click. To release it, lift the
So
buckle.
we'll let them carry on
Please
with
ensure
that for
your
the moment.
seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap at all times when seated.
So our airport
unlikely
we're
event
departing
of a
from,
loss
we'll
of
just go and
cabin
fill this in
pressure,
while we're waiting,
Oxygen
is
masks will drop down from
SEQM.
the panel above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of
Let
oxygen.
me take the
Place it over
head
your
tracking
nose
off.
and mouth and secure it with the
All
elastic
aircraft be
band.
advised, information golf is now current.
Remember to secure
QNH
your arms
1022.
before assisting others. We also have life vests located under your seats. To use them, pull the vest out, slip it over your head, and pull the straps to tighten. Inflate the vest by pulling the red tabs or by blowing into the tube.
Okay, so there's our
In the
route.
event of an evacuation, please leave all luggage on board. Your safety is our priority. There are 2 emergency exits
Let's
located
wait for her
at the front
to finish
and
this.
rear
We
of
could
the
start
aircraft.
taxiing, couldn't we, while we're
Please
waiting?
take a moment to locate the
So we
nearest
are
exit,
talking
which may be
to
behind
ground.
you.
Hello, Virgin
So we're going to be
119
requesting
information
taxi to
Delta,
runway
San Juan
18,
will be
aren't we?
clearance to copy that.
Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
Ground, Virtual 001, requesting taxi to runway 18.
Quito clearance, Air France 1123 is requesting IFF clearance to Los Angeles
So I'm
with
guessing it's
information
going
Papa.
to be Hotel then Alpha.
Virtual 001, taxi to runway 18 via Delta, Bravo, Golf, Alpha.
Taxi via Delta, Bravo, Golf, Alpha, Virtual 001. So Delta's right underneath us. The Bravo, Golf, and then Alpha must be all the way along. Hotel's that intersection, isn't it? You can't quite see it on this map. It's interesting how the taxi maps are often quite strange. Okay, we've got something odd going on with the engines. So we said about looking up that, didn't we? And oh, it could be the simulator itself, you know. No, it's gone into... It needs a bit of trim on the throttles. Or no, it's the pushback. The simulator has got a bug in pushback sometimes, and you saw what happened there. It was still pushing back with no tractor. I'm no doubt it will get fixed at some point, but it's just to make you aware that it can still do that. It's not fun when it happens, but as long as you realise it's done it, it's obviously just a key press to stop it from doing it. The default pushback in the simulator is something of a lottery. Yeah, it sometimes gets it right, and it sometimes gets it wrong. We're supposed to have the taxi lights on, aren't we? Okay, we've just managed to completely shut the engine down. That was clever of us, wasn't it? So we're going to have an unintended bit of fun here on the taxiway. Bear with me. Now you can bleed the air across. Yeah, the head tracking is being absolute so-and-so this evening. I'm going to turn it off for the moment. So Toby is doing its best to kill us. So we're going to go and turn the master switch back on and keep it on. This is, we're having one of those days, aren't we? You can see it happening. APU start. We need to get the air back. There is a way of doing this with manipulating the valves to divert the air from the left engine to the right engine, because as you saw, we accidentally from the right engine to the left. We accidentally shut the left engine down while I was trying to hit the taxi switch. So that should be off. Then we're ready to start. We put the air on and then we can restart the engine. Famous last words. It's not going to allow us to restart, is it? Oh, it is. Is it going to come up? Oh, I'm doing the wrong one. There we go. So just wait for the engine to spin back up and then we'll go and turn the APU back off. Luckily we had a nice long taxi to do this in, so let's go and hit the taxi switch again for the taxi lights, and engine is now up and running, so we no longer need the APU, so the bleed air can come back off, the generator can come back off, the APU can come back to stop, so it will spin down and then we can turn the master switch back off. And we're almost there probably, or we should be. It's quite a long taxi, isn't it? Right the way down to the far end of the runway. I can't imagine we'll need this whole runway, but we'll use it. So what altitude are we at? Oh, we're nearly 8,000 feet. Yeah, we're going to need a long runway. Although we are in a small jet, not in a heavy, so it should be straightforward. So while we're taxiing, we've got a few little bits and pieces to do.
Ground Galapagos 1606 with information Quebec, requesting IFR clearance to Cuenca.
So put the anti-collision lights on while we're on our way, put the recognition lights on while we're on our way.
And Galapagos 1606 requesting
passenger
pushback
lights stay
and
on safety,
start.
which means the
I'll have
electronic
your clearance
devices
in
and
just a
no
second.
smoking and seatbelt signs will all be on. So we'll take off from the next intersection. It's an interesting runway, isn't it? This is one of the stock airfields, by the way, in the simulator. It's really quite detailed. It had an asterisk next to it on the map, which means it's got extra effort invested in it. So this is a high-speed exit normally here, but we could join here. I'm sure we can. It's not going to be a problem. Got a lovely long runway. So whether you keep the APU on or not is down to your standard operating procedure of your airline, really, and the model of aeroplane as well. But you can go and read the book on it. You don't actually need the APU on if the engines are both up and running. It's kind of superfluous. So we're going to go long. So flaps are already done. Let's go and double check things. So trim is correct. It's looking good. Okay, so let's bring the range down on the display here. So Scott's saying, or Sherwin, I'm not sure which is your first name in the live stream, about they may not have been wrong. So the supposition there is that you leave the APU on. For some aeroplanes you may, and for some procedures you may, depending on the standard operating procedure of the airline you're operating under. And it's there's no hard and fast rule to that. The general story around the APU is the APU provides, on some models of aeroplane, provides the compressed air that is used to spin the engines up. But it also may be used to generate the electricity that is used to spin the engines up, depending on the model of engine and how the starters work on them. But in this aeroplane, it's obviously compressed air, because you've got the whole story around the bleed air control. Or we need to go and switch the pack spec to open. The reason you close the packs off when you're starting the engines is otherwise you're letting some of the air work on the cabin, and then you haven't got enough pressure to.
Virtual 001, contact tower on 118.35.
Contacting tower 118.35, virtual 001. I won't contact them until I get to the holding point. I need to be able to look and see what I'm doing. Okay. Tower virtual 001, holding short, runway 18.
Virtual 01, Quito Tower, runway 18, winds 350 at 15, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 18, copy the weather, virtual 001. They haven't given us... Oh, they didn't, yes. 11,000 was our initial climb. Let's just go double check. Have we got the transition altitude? No, we haven't, but we've got the SID, which will have it on it, hopefully. Let's look where we're going first, hey? When we get lined up. But actually, we can do it on departure, it doesn't matter. So park and brake on for a moment. Let's just double check things. So we've got the lights are all configured. The anti-collision lights on, recognition lights are on, nav lights are on, seat belts and safety signs are on, landing lights are on, taxi lights are on. We haven't got any... Oh, we've got a no takeoff warning. Now, why is that? So because of the parking brake, maybe? Oh, because of the pitot heats. So we need to go and turn the pitot heats on. There's something really weird going on with the controls tonight. So turn the parking brake off, and all of the messages are gone. Okay. So we should be good to go. Look at the SID. They told us to line up runway 18, didn't they? Which is the opposite direction. What is going on? I've only just caught that. Departure runway 18. Oh, they changed the departure. The Keat 4A, of course. That's a good job I checked that, wasn't it? So let's go just quickly go and change that then. So departure is runway, not runway 36, go to flight plan, nav, departure, runway 18, Keat 4A, activate. Let's have a look through. Is that got any problems? No, it hasn't. So if we do this really strange departure, okay, that's fine. Let's go and reflect that in Navigraph. So that differs massively from what we had from SimBrief, which is interesting. So runway 18, okay. Then change that to the Keat 4A. I should have picked that up earlier. So we're doing an immediate right turn and then a left turn, which is what we can see here. That's good. We'll correct LittleNavMap while we're en route. So yeah, we're at 8,000 feet altitude, the air is thin, so we're not going to get the normal amount of climb you would expect, therefore you need a long runway. You're not going to get the same amount of thrust, or the same amount of acceleration I should say. So yeah, look how long this is taking to get to 120 knots. Indicated, that's worth saying. So rotate. Gear up. And we should, with a bit of luck, it'll turn autopilot on and it will help us. So it's dropping, yeah, it's gone to LNAV and it's using, I think VVS is how it indicates VNAV, but we'll see. So it's climbing for 11,000 feet. I was going to go and check the transition altitude, wasn't I? On the chart. Oh, that's the wrong chart. We want we want the Keat 4A. How do we get that? Open chart.
Contact departure.
There we go. Contact departure, virtual 001. Departures, virtual 001, departing runway 18. So we're within
Virtual 01, Quito departure, radar contact. Climb via the SIT to flight level 180.
Climbing flight level 180, virtual 001.
Now reached a safe altitude, and you are welcome to use your electronic devices. Please ensure they are set to airplane mode. Also, our onboard Wi-Fi service is now available for your convenience.
So we're going to do flight level change to get that. And we can go back to climb descent on the FADEC throttle system, and we can take. We should be able to take the flaps away, which will help the aeroplane be fast, which will help in this thin air. Yeah, you can see it's accelerating now. I will admit I'm still a little bit at sea with the throttle system on this thing. It's a little bit odd. It gives us the wind vectors, that's quite nice. I hadn't noticed that. I've not flown it properly yet, so this is my first real proper flight. So the girl you just heard talking wasn't the ATC, that was the cabin crew. Well, obviously it's a simplified cabin crew, it thinks we're in, you know, a 737 or an Airbus or something, but we're not. We're in a business jet. So let's see if the flight director kicks in and takes us around the corner.
Give me just a minute.
Keep an eye on it. Should go now. And there it goes.
We are here to fly forward. Flight immediate E4 Bravo departure. Departure runway 36, initial climb 11,000 feet. Departure on 121.2, walking 276 feet.
We're accelerating as part of the departure constraints. So that's why it's not climbing at the moment. It's getting to this speed under the climb descent, and now it's going to go hit the speed and then go for climb rate again. Interesting, isn't it? The way it's vectoring. This is the first time I've seen it doing this. So it's turning the curves into obviously the radiuses for the airspeed you're doing. And it seems to be predicting the airspeed when you get to the next turn, because that's a much bigger radius than this one. That's quite clever. let's come back. So just reading back through the live stream comments there, John is saying he did a flight earlier, and although it was a lot to absorb, it was really good. I think that's the main takeaway. I really like the aeroplanes when they behave in a predictable manner. When they do strange things, that's when it starts to cause you problems, because you can't predict. You can't be ahead of the aeroplane, and that's half the game, as the professional pilots will tell you. If you know what's going to happen, you can plan. You can be prepared. Whereas if you're reacting and you're behind the aeroplane, that's when accidents happen. Okay, so the reason for this route look is these hills. So we are doing this kind of snake route out of the airport. Can we see the airport still? It's over there, isn't it? So we took off, doubled back. The end game, though, is to get over these hills.
Virtual 001, climb flight level 240.
Climbing flight level 240, virtual 001. So we go flight level change again. See, look, this... I've made a slight mistake there. I wasn't keeping an eye on it. So we'll get a colossal climb rate now because it's got some speed to play with. But I haven't got the option switched on, which is in the tablet somewhere, to give us flight control. Sorry, speed control.
After our service,
where is it?
Auto
throttle. I haven't enabled the auto throttle. I wonder if we can do it while we're in flight to see it. Auto throttle module. That wasn't great, was it?
Virtual 001, contact Guayaquil Center on 123.9er.
So, auto throttle system is off. How do we enable it? Has it got an AT button somewhere? I really shouldn't have done that in flight, should I? We need to respond anyway. Contacting Guayaquil Center, 123.9, virtual 001. Guayaquil Center, virtual 001, climbing to flight level 240.
Identified. Good afternoon.
So let's see if we can find out where this... Okay, so we've got the ATS here. We've got FMS mode and sort of speed mode. I wonder how it works. Following the FMS. ATS is off though, so we just turn it on. Very good. So presumably that will take over climb. That will give us something to play with en route, won't it? To see how the system works. It's funny, isn't it? I always say this, but every flight with me turns into a test flight because I'll get bored and start tinkering. So let's have a look at the rest of the route then. If we go and close this plan now, we're off on our way down south towards what's the name of the airport? I've forgotten the name of it. That's terrible, isn't it? Chagual, which is in the middle of the mountains. So you can't see it on here, but if we put this on VFR mode, look at those contours around it. That's going to be great fun. So it's going to be a very visual, very stressful approach on a short runway. So we're at flight level 240. So, having a quick look at the
Center FedEx
flight
77
plan.
at Mariscal, Sucre, with information Juliet, request IFR
So
clearance to Miami.
240, but then once we get past GYV, we climb flight level
Miami
380.
via Kit 4, Alpha departure, then is filed, departure runway 36, initial climb to 11,000, departure on 119.7, squawk 4451.
So where's okay, there's GYV, that's where we climb. So if we go and open up the airways here, can we see why? I'm presuming we're going to join an airway that's a higher altitude airway. Otherwise, why would they have done that? But we'll just follow controller instruction. They'll tell us if they want us higher or lower along the way. Oh, we need to go and reprogram the departure, don't we? So it was runway 18. And what are we doing? We're going show departure procedures, and it was the Quito, wasn't it? Oh, we've only got Quito 3 in here. I need to go and do another scan, don't I? But it's close enough. So let's increase the range on the navigation display now. See a bit more of the route. I want to have a play with the radar as well. I didn't really play with it previously. So MFD setup. Can we turn the... So we're showing VORs at the moment. Traffic, terrain. So that might be quite handy actually on the way in. I'm not sure how quickly it will switch on if we go to terrain mode. Although we're probably too high now for it to show it. But I think this could do weather radar. I've not really played with it. Should we have a look? Have I still got the book? Have I deleted it? I think I've deleted it already. I had the book downloaded earlier from their website and was reading through it. Has anybody else played with the radar? Maybe I was imagining it. Maybe it's actually just the terrain radar. I know we got PFD-WX. What does that do? That's primary flight display. MFD-WX. So it's saying WX off. Interesting. So Ed is asking about the Phoenix Airbus. Overhead there is a bright light and I can't figure out how to turn that off. That'll be the dome light, won't it? So isn't it further overhead? I'm trying to remember on the Airbus where the switches are. Obviously, without having an Airbus in front of me, it's difficult to tell you. What are we playing with here? So should we go and increase our speed a bit? Presumably... Oh, it's going to be controlled by the FMS, isn't it? Unless we change it. So can we do that here? We can go manual and then take control of the speed. But the fuel profile's probably based around us doing 300 knots. So going faster may run us out of fuel. We'll find out, won't we? I don't think anything will stop us in the aeroplane going and putting more fuel in while we're in midair. Even though that's thoroughly, how would you put it, inaccurate. Oh, we haven't turned the landing lights off. Just realised that. In all the fun and games of changing our departure. It's funny, I had a professional pilot email me one day and he was sort of, making little comments here and there about encouraging me to look at different areas, and he said, don't worry so much about the lights because the real pilots don't. He said the sim pilots get really kind of wrapped up in turning the lights on and off at the right times, because they've got some piece of ACARS software that's going to be marking them down if they miss the light switch by 500 feet when they should have done it. And he said that's all airline operating procedures, and yeah, it might come up on the review, but it's not going to kill anyone. Or not unless you're flying, you know, with no lights on at low altitude and you slam into somebody.
Land, runway 26, United 690. United 690, contact Quito approach on 119.7. United 690, clear.
Should we go and run transmitter in the background?
United 690, contact ground for taxi instructions.
I think that's all correct. So, if we go and look on the radar in transmitter, we will see ourselves over here. VFA 001. There we are. We zoom in, we can see ourselves moving probably. We get this right. There we go. Is there many people using it tonight? There's a few of us. I haven't really told many people that transmitter exists yet, so it's a bit of fun. So we're doing Mach 0.74, flight level 240. Have they told us to go higher yet? I haven't been paying attention. No. So I think at GYV they're going to give us instruction to go higher, aren't they? Oh, that's what the flight plan looks like anyway. So 498 ground speed and then 380, 38,000 feet. And then, this is interesting though, because we're going to go direct from 380. I wonder what the controllers will do if they just leave you at the higher altitude. I wonder if that becomes the minimum for the airway. Because then we're back to 450 at Zumba. Then 430 and then obviously descending in from then on. So let's have a look at the fuel and see the burn rate. So I'm just looking at live stream comments and somebody said they had a fuel imbalance. So you can play around with the pumps, you know, to push fuel between the different tanks. I've not done it, but yeah, so if you come over and have a look. So here's the hydraulic systems, here's the engines, here's the APU.
Control, good day, and North 101, request to copy IFR clearance as filed.
So
I'm working on that clearance, stand by.
Center, wait, here we go. Fuel, so you can transfer cross feeds between the tanks.
497 Kilo approach and direct for North 101.
So you can transfer between the tanks, yeah? So if you switch this either way, you can transfer fuel around. Quite why it might be, you might have had one of the boost pumps on maybe, and not the other by accident. And that may have drained one unequally to the other, I don't know. I'd have to try it. It seems to be remarkably well thought out with the way everything works. So you can see here, look, we've got our fuel flow and it's 10 higher on the left than the right. No, it's just equaled out again, so it's more or less the same. But you can see, yes, I've got a slight weight imbalance, look. That may be because the APU uses the left tank, maybe? Or something like that. Oh, sorry, no, when we were on the runway, I shut one of the engines down, didn't I, by accident? So I would have a slightly different amount. Interesting. That's predicated on the idea, maybe, though, that the engines are fed by the wing they are closest to, which may not be true. Okay, we're just passing through the next waypoint, and now we go to Dakab. That's quite good that that flashes, isn't it? So if we go and press the flight plan button, okay, we can see that. What about the progress button? So it shows the next waypoint and estimated time en route to get there and the amount of fuel when you get there. And at the destination it's predicting we'll have 2.5 tons of fuel left. Should get there in an hour. according to this. I'm presuming that's the burn down time and not the not UTC. What's the time here? It's 10:30, but we are BST, which is UTC plus 1. So yeah, I'm guessing that's the burn down. If that turns to 59, we'll know.
Expected by B1 Alpha Air France 641.
So John is saying there about the APU may have caused the imbalance. That's a total guess. You have no way of knowing that. So if you go and read the book, it might mention it. I know it's quite common that some aeroplanes, I think was it the MD-80 family, they feed from the, certainly the 737 I think does. You typically go for the low left fuel pump to get the APU, or to give the APU fuel. Was it the MD-80? My memory's failing me. It's very stable, isn't it? See, we still have an element of lights on. I'm guessing that's the recognition lights, so you get a dim light on the wing route. Obviously they brighten up enormously for landing. The fastest hairdryer in the West. So we're just coming up towards this waypoint. It's about 45 miles out. I wonder if we will get instruction to climb when we get there. We'll get our estimate, 6 minutes until we get there. So if we go and look on the flight plan, we should see the altitude. No, there's no altitude penciled in. Should we ask ATC if we can go higher? Who are we talking to at the moment? Guayaquil Center. Guayaquil Center, virtual 001, requesting higher. So obviously we'll be more efficient at high altitude. Are they going to let us go higher? Are they going to respond at all? We'll see what happens when we pass through the waypoint. See, we would have been expecting to go up to, what was it? GYV 380. Let's ask them for a climb to 380 then. Guayaquil Center, virtual 001, requesting climb to flight level 380. We're still in the climb descent, by the way, on the throttles. We shouldn't be. I don't know whether that has an impact on the automatic throttle system, especially as I've not got this on FMS mode. Because yeah, this has got cruise, climb and toga effectively on the throttle quadrant. Yeah, ATC's gone mysteriously silent. Guayaquil Center, radio check, virtual 001.
Virtual 001, you're coming in loud and clear.
You're not. Guayaquil Center, virtual 001, requesting climb to flight level 380. No. I think we've just got very poor radio signal. We're not hearing them. So we're just going to follow instruction here and climb on of our own volition. Normally you would inform ATC though if you're climbing. And get clearance for it. Let's see what happens.
Center, Qatari 192, are we cleared to descend flight level 100? Center, Qatari 8192, requesting flight level 100.
Yeah, that's quite clever.
Qatari 8192, descend flight level 180.
So they're coming through a lot more cleanly now. Guayaquil Center, virtual 001, climbing to flight level 380 as filed on our flight plan. Let's tell them why. Flight level change, and throttles to climb. And the airplane responds. So what sort of climb rate is it going to do? 1400 feet a minute. That's not bad, is it? 1500 feet. 16. So yeah, I think SayIntentions is having some problems the last few days. You sometimes get an unresponsive controller, and then it will come back to life a bit later. So yeah, I think they're having scaling issues because they've become so wildly popular. It's a lovely looking plane, isn't it? So Bill says he's getting a heading fail message a few minutes into every flight. Have you removed discontinuities from your flight plan? You may be getting to the end of your SID and running off the end of your flight plan, in which case it can't guide you anymore. So Sherwin's saying it looks a lot like the longitude. Well, it is the longitude. It's the Cessna Citation C750 Citation Longitude. It's an earlier model than the one that's in the simulator. And it's a much more accurately modelled version than the one that's in the simulator. The one that comes with the simulator, I should say. So this is an earlier version of the Citation Longitude. So Bill, I'm wondering what would cause that. Why would it fail heading mode? You've got the INS system lined up, I'm guessing, and it's in nav mode, and you gave it time to line up when you were on the ground. There's also a thing, are you working it up from cold and dark, or are you shortcutting it with the aircraft state? Is there a bug in the aircraft state, maybe? I've only started it from cold and dark myself, so I can't speak for if you shortcut it. What else could it be? Oh, I wonder if a controller input would cause heading failure. So if you had a spurious input from rudder or ailerons or something like that, would it drop the autopilot and say heading failure because it couldn't maintain? I wonder what it would report. I'm not going to do it, but that's something else to have a look at. I've certainly seen with the big jets spurious control inputs like spiking from a rogue pot on the resistors they put on controls. I've seen that cause autopilot to drop out because it sees it obviously as like a sudden stick movement or something, and it will drop autopilot. But whether it would report heading failure, I don't know. That's an interesting one. Isn't it funny? As soon as we get a problem to work on during cruise, because there's nothing else to do for us, as soon as we have something to work on, it's good fun. So it's like you start scratching your head and thinking, what might cause that? I'm guessing on this aeroplane, you just keep an eye on this screen all the time to see if anything untoward pops up. So we can see we've still got a 30 difference in the fuel quantity. That's interesting, isn't it? Should we have a play with the pumps and see if we can push some fuel from one side to the other? So, do we go and do that? So we've now got higher fuel flow on the left than the right. And we want it to go the other way though, don't we? So now we've got higher, it's still higher on the left than the right. It's interesting, isn't it? I'm going to stop fiddling because I haven't read up on how the switches work properly. So I don't want to go and cause myself more problems. Oh, it is this. So I labelled it correctly. So FlightFX, hello, or welcome to the channel. They're saying it is the FlightFX Cessna Citation X. So I did label my video correctly. I second guessed myself yesterday, and somebody said, "Isn't this the longitude?" And I went and changed the name of the video because I thought it looks like a longitude. It must be a longitude. I didn't actually go and check. And I will admit, I was probably thrown because I went by some of the news websites that announced that the airplane was there, and they were calling it the longitude as well. Because they probably made the same mistake, that looks like a longitude, must be a longitude. That's really good to know. Okay, I'll go and revise the name of the video later then, once we correct this one. Oh, here's the question then for FlightFX. So John here in the, was it John? No, Bill. Sorry. I'm just reading backwards through the live stream comments. Somebody said that they had a heading failure. And we were wondering, it could be a spurious input maybe. I wondered if it might be the, they hadn't gone through alignment properly, or maybe shortcutting the aircraft state instead of working it up from cold and dark might cause it. You know, if there's any kind of discrepancies in the code there of when it sets the state of everything, I don't know. Totally guessing. Because I've worked it up in cold and dark each time, and it's been entirely predictable. The one thing I haven't seen on it There is no performance calculator, is there? But SimBrief has one, don't they? So if we go and have a quick look while the airplane's in cruise here. So SimBrief takeoff calculator. I can never remember where this is in their website, so I'm following a news story about it. SimBrief takeoff, and that's a tutorial. I don't want to do that. It's in the SimBrief user guide. Takeoff performance. Where is it? Where's their lovely calculator? I've used it in the past. This is typical. People go and write documentation, they don't put a link to the thing they're relating it to. Performance and tools, page actions, takeoff performance. That's going to be a link to the documentation though, isn't it? Let's go and have a look. simbrief.com. And I bet there's no search within SimBrief to find it. Performance calculator, where are they going to hide it? Nope. Is it in here somewhere? Here we go, takeoff. Hurrah, I found it. So on this Cessna Citation X, yeah, so you can do your calculations in here. So if we go and we had takeoff thrust, but let's go and see what it gives us. So we took off from SEQM, we took off runway 18 in the end, didn't we? I'm not sure what the wind was at the time. I'm guessing Populate will go and fetch the live weather. And then if you do calculate, it will give you your V-speeds accurately and flap settings you should use, which is really handy to have. So you have got a takeoff calculator available to you in SimBrief. So in here we get to influence the weights from SimBrief, and it did carry through some numbers, didn't it, into the cockpit. Interesting. Okay, that beeping is... oh, it's overspeeding. That's my own fault.
Virtual 001, expect the visual runway 32 approach into Chagual. In about 20 minutes, I'll start your descent.
So I'm going to turn this speed down. Yeah, because it's got the auto throttle on, obviously it's taking no notice of the throttle levers, which is interesting. So why did that suddenly hit the speed when it hadn't before? The meteorological conditions must have changed, although we're still climbing, aren't we? We're still on our way upstairs, basically. So we're doing Mach 0.9 nearly. We are shifting, aren't we? So let's bring this back to 290 or 280 even, because at these altitudes we are shifting. Okay. There's loads to play with this in this airplane, isn't there? It's fantastic. Really, really good. I'm tempted to go and have a play with the nav radios just to see how they work, and just to play with them. So in terms of programming the nav radios, yeah, we just do it down here. So if we were to try it, let's go and have a look on the map. Oh, there's no VORs. Oh, there's some behind us. So there's this one here. What's the range on it? 125 miles. The Santa Rosa VOR 116.6. So if we come down here, so we can change the bottom number and then we can transfer it to active. So we wanted 116.6. So then make that the active nav1 frequency, and then we can switch on VOR1. So it's just reflecting it. So obviously the guidance system's still using FMS guidance because it says FMS1, but on the display here we can show VOR1. Does that mean we can change the bearing? Or sorry, the course? I'm not sure that we can. So that's obviously showing the GPS route. It'd be interesting to see what this does when we get to the waypoint. Oh, I guess we have to do nav here to make it work properly. There we go. So if we did that, then it points towards the VOR, and then you get course. So where do you manipulate course? I bet it's down here, isn't it? Or is it one of the... Yeah, that's the course for the CDI. So we can spin that round. When we point it backwards, it should point directly at the VOR, and yeah, it does look. Perfect. Okay, that's that worked out as well. So if we go back to FMS mode, then the airplane's going to turn right any time now, or it should do. So did that change? No, it didn't change the guidance mode. It just changed the CDI here. But why hasn't that turned right for some... Ah, by we changing modes, of course, it's dropped the nav mode. So then if we are away from the course, it won't regain it. So we have to go heading mode to get it back in the ballpark, I'm guessing. So we'll do that. We'll put an intercept course in place. It's interesting, isn't it, playing with all these things just to see how they work. Why is that heading and not taking us further? Maybe because the altitude, the bank angle, it can't do a sharp turn. I mean, it is turning, just very gently. So, Mitchell's asking, what do you use for your rudder control? I've just got a twist stick on an Airbus stick. I haven't got any rudder pedals. I know people are always shocked when they discover that one. I think I have far less hardware than just about anybody else. All I've got is the captain's pack of the Quadrant and the Airbus stick. I have got a Stream Deck, which I very rarely use for anything. I've also got a Toby head tracker, which allows me to do the head tracking, which is really useful for GA flights, not so much for the big jets. Okay, so has this got all of the speed constraints programmed in? Let's go and have a look down to the flight plan. No. So we'll leave it on manual. And I'm hoping this will pick up once we get close to the track. I'm guessing it's going to be like within 1 dot on the CDI. As we cross over the path, it will capture and go to LNAV and drop the heading mode. We'll find out. So it hasn't got one of these wonder navigation systems that will turn the aeroplane around in search of the GPS track. You have to get it in the ballpark yourself, which is good. Waiting patiently for the CDI to come in. What's happening with the wind? We're being blown towards the track. Approaching Zumba. So if we go and have a look in LittleNavMap, and it's got this very, very basic open aircraft performance. Have I got a citation in here? Cessna. I've got the CJ4. I've got the longitude, which is vaguely similar, it turns out. And we're flying at 38,000 feet at the moment. I'm just wondering if it's going to give us top of descent. Not that far out, 62. That's incredibly close.
711, pass your message.
To drop 30,000 feet.
7711, request final flight level 360.
Normally you go on the 3 to 1 rule, where 3 miles per 1,000 feet. So we'll be looking at 120 miles to get rid of 38,000 feet, to do it in a sensible manner anyway. So yeah, Mitchell's mentioning the honeycomb pedals. I've looked at them as well. I've looked at the full honeycomb set and I keep wandering and I don't ever go and buy it. One day maybe. So the instrument over here is, I'm guessing, showing the nav radio. So if we find another, so we got the VOR over here. Right click, show information on the, how do you pronounce this? Chachapoyas VOR 11510. So let's go and tune that in nav 1. 11510. Switch that to active. Does that make this come alive? At 140. That seems about right, doesn't it? Yeah. So you've got a traditional nav1 or nav instrument. I'm guessing the bar there means obviously it's not picking up a glide slope, which it won't until we get. So we're not going to have ILS at the airfield, are we? So it's going to be a lovely visual manual approach in. Yeah, it's picked up, look. So it's gone LNAV now and dropped heading. which is what we were hoping. Very cool. So let's increase the range out. So our destination airfield is coming into view. If you remember, it's SPGL Chagual Airport. So it's about 180 miles out. So I imagine we can start descending at the waypoint here. Forbidding, don't they, in between the clouds down there. The engine is hunting, isn't it? Almost like it doesn't know what to do. So, how long ago did they tell us to begin?
Virtual 001, contact Lima Center on 128.1.
Maybe events will overtake us. Contacting Lima Center 128.1, virtual 001, good day. Lima Center, virtual 001 with you, flight level 380.
Virtual 01, Lima Center identified, saludos.
Should we ask for a lower flight level so we can have a look around? What did our flight plan have written in it? So, yeah, flight level 240 at LOJ. But then it was back to 450 at Zumba. So we were not at 450, but should we ask for lower? Go down to 240 maybe. We'll wait. Otherwise we'll be low for a tremendous distance on the way in. So while we're wasting some time here, let's go and have a play with some of the things in the aeroplane. So if we go and look in, I think it's config, cabin layouts, we can have a plated dinner. So if we go and, how do we do this? Open. Oh, we got the people in here. I forgot about that. There we go. Cans of fizzy drink. I haven't seen the people yet. This is all new to me. So if we go through to the back, can we go in and have a look in the toilet? Does it flush or anything? Probably not, but you never know. You never know what the developers are going to implement these days, do you? I always wonder who these people are. Are they relations of the developers, or are they just stock models bought from a 3D assets place? Who knows? Winelandia vineyards from the Napa Valley. So let's put the dinner back away. We can talk to the cabin crew. Let's see. Hi, how are the passengers doing today?
The passengers are doing well, Captain. Thank you for asking.
We can talk to our co-pilot as well. Hi Amanda, how's it going?
Doing well, Jonathan. Just focusing on the flight.
So about 150 miles out, something like that. It's interesting that this keeps hunting, doesn't it? The speed isn't moving very much. He says, famous last words. And it's not due to the wind gusting, I don't think. I'm just reading the live stream comments about the people in the cabin. Let's go and have a look at the map. It's not bad. It's a shame it doesn't superimpose the flight plan onto it, but I know that's going to be quite complicated to do. So does this mean... Oh, we can wiggle this around. Oh, how cool is that? I have no idea what that does. So does that mean we can rotate it? That would imply being... Oh, we can... Okay. What does this one do? Oh, that hides it. We've now lost the tablet, and I don't know how to get it back. Oh, there it is. Famous last words. This is how we find these things out. Okay, that's good. I'd rather have it not there, to be honest. So, we're going to be beginning descent into Chagal soon. Shall we request descent? So who are we talking to? Lima Center. Lima Center, Virtual 001, requesting beginning of descent into Chagual.
Virtual 001, when you're ready to begin your descent, descend, flight level 250.
Descending flight level 250, Virtual 001. So let's see how the auto throttle system manages this. Gonna fall out of the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now left our cruising altitude and have started our approach to Chagual. Please return to your seats, stow your tables and fasten your seat belts. The usage of lavatories is no longer permitted. Thank you for your cooperation.
So let's go and bring the range down on the primary flight display. Sorry, multi-function display, that's the primary flight display.
Virtual 001, descend altitude 14,000.
Descending 14,000, Virtual 001. So we may need to request vectors given the weather. Especially as we don't have a guidance system. Should we have a look in Navigraph, see if we can get an accurate view of the weather at the destination? So we want to see the weather, please. And we want to see it at about 6,000 feet. 7,000 feet. So it's not showing anything. Yeah, I don't believe that. That's at 10,000 feet. So there is at 17, 14. So we may be okay then. So below sort of 10,000 feet it may be fairly clear, if this is to be trusted. But then the altitude of the destination airfield is 4,000 feet, so that gives us 6,000 feet, and then you take into account the size of the hills. And if you come in here and have a look, we're coming down to 14,000, remember, which is the minimum to come in. Look, I'm not happy about this. We're going to be dodging hills. I mean, okay, it's going to look spectacular, but in this cloud layer, that's a recipe for disaster. We'll see. It might be clearer out this way. Let's go and have a look. Can we see out that way? No, it looks pretty just as bad as here. So we're heading probably... We wait for that to turn. It's over there, isn't it? Somewhere. Miles out. Okay, it's a long way out yet, but I don't agree with them dropping us to 14,000 feet at all. So let's take our time getting there on purpose. So if we go vertical speed mode, and we're going to drop the descent rate to 1,000 feet, or no, yeah, 1,000 feet a minute. Which will give us quite some time until we are low. In fact, we'll do less than that. Playing games here to manipulate our appearance at low altitude. We've got ice forming. So let's go and have a look at the anti-ice measures we have available to us. Windshield. I wonder if you get any ice detection in the cockpit. Okay, seeing as we're getting lower, I'm going to go and put the landing lights on just to light us up like a Christmas tree. So this should be showing the terrain radar. It'd be interesting to see if it kicks in and starts rendering.
Lima departure, Castle 589, radio check. Lima Center, Castle 589, on the ground at Chagual, looking for an IFR clearance to Sierra Echo, Quebec, Mike.
So we should be making a left turn fairly soon. You know, I'm going to hold us at this altitude. I'm not going to descend as far as they've said. I don't think it would be safe. Okay, so although this is taking us towards the airport, it's obviously not going to be our final track to get into the runway because of all these hills. If we have a look on LittleNavMap, we can get a better appreciation for it. Let's get all these dialogues out of the way. So we're coming in, we're about 70 miles out at the moment. What's the wind doing on the ground at the airport? 30 degrees, 8 knots. So this is the wind we're experiencing, 70 miles up the road. But in here, it's coming.
Virtual 001, descend altitude 4000, QNH 1018.
What on earth are they talking about? That's wrong. Unable to comply. 4,000 feet would put us into a mountainside, virtual 001.
Virtual 001, maintain current altitude until further advised. Descend when able to a safe altitude for approach into Chagual.
We'll descend when safe to do so into Chagual, virtual 001. There we go, we've just hit the limitations of a large language model, artificial intelligent air traffic services stuff. They were very keen on putting us into a hillside.
Maintain flight level 200, Ziggy 112. Expect the RNAV runway 20 approach into Trujillo via Patia to arrival. Ziggy Air 1123.
Ziggy 1123, descend and maintain flight level 260. Ziggy 1123, roger, maintain flight level 200.
So, we've got a few minutes to spare then. So we're just trundling along this track. I'm going to go and grab a coffee. And then when we get overhead Chagal, we can figure out coming in visually along the river and swinging in for an approach. Should be okay. Famous last words. So I'll go and turn head tracking off for a moment. I'll leave us flying along 20,000 feet. And I'll be back in a moment. I'm just going to go grab a coffee before we go in for approach.
Virtual 001, descend altitude 4,000, turn left. Heading 115 vectors for the visual runway 32 approach.
Negative, will not be able to descend 4,000 feet. Mountains will obstruct our route of Virtual 001.
Virtual 001, maintain current altitude until further advised. Descend when able to a safe altitude for approach into Chagual.
Will descend when safely able to, Virtual 001. It's a good job we didn't request vectors, isn't it? Because they would have killed us. Miles to run. So we can see the hillside there, and it's just down at the end of here. So if we look from outside, this is the hill we're just passing. It's huge, aren't these mountains? going to be quite hairy, you know. Especially as it's not the longest runway in the world. So it's going to be down in that dip down there. It's fine, we'll just go manual when we get there. Turn the auto throttle off and fly it. We'll be fine. In fact, should we start flying now? Give us a bit of a chance to get used to it, won't it? Autopilot off, we have control.
Virtual 001, turn left heading 100.
Turning left heading 100, virtual 001. They're going to put us into a box pattern around the airfield maybe. Let's find out what they intend. So I'm going to have to hold altitude because there's too many hills to do anything else. Let's have a look, see if any of this makes sense. I just realised I didn't see the end of the football earlier. Who won it? Does anybody know? Whoops, I just hit the throttle as well. I'm trying to search for it. Spain beat Germany. There we go. So, Spain versus England in the final then. 1-0. 113 minutes in. Oh my word. So are they going to turn us back in at some point today, maybe? If we're lucky. It would help if we continued on the angle they told us, wouldn't it? Or heading, sorry. Sending us all the way over here. Oh, it's 100, not 110. Serves me right for not paying attention. sending us all this route out here? This is a bit of a crazy...
Virtual 001, turn right heading 125.
Turning right heading 125, 001. Okay, now we're doing the reciprocal almost. I don't trust the AI for this. I know I could bring it in safely if I just ignore AI. But I want to kind of do it properly. Is there a... No, there's not a particular mountain they're going to follow either, unless they're going to bring us down to this ridge. But then that ends there. They wouldn't go all the way around the back round here, would they?
Turn right heading 220.
Turning right heading 220, virtual 001. So let's start descending in the turn as well. Have a look at the map then. Yeah, okay, they're going to bring us in the box, look, that's what they're doing. They're taking us out to a box, and then they're going to bring us in. So I imagine that valley over there is the route into the airfield. I do pick some places to go and land, don't I? So Aussie is saying, is this Sim Update 3 beta? No. This is the... I've never used the betas of Flight Simulator. So let's go and change this heading, altitude bug to stop it complaining at us.
Virtual 001, 12 miles from the approach turn. Turn right heading 280 until established. Cleared for the visual runway 32 approach.
Let's repeat that back as they said it. 12 miles from the approach turn. Turn right heading 280 until established. Cleared for visual runway 32 approach. Virtual 001. So 280. So we're going to start descending now into that valley. Let's just double check that on the map. Yeah. So this is unintentionally exciting, isn't it? Look at that. You wouldn't want to hit those hills, would you? This thing doesn't have spoilers, does it? Oh, it does. Awesome. Because we're going to need them. So we're 12 miles out. And descending into mist lit by low sun, which is a worst combination you can possibly invent. Why am I seeing beacon lights down there? I think it's just the light shining off of something. The terrain radar has lit up like a Christmas tree. I'm not surprised.
Virtual 001, Chagual Airport at your 1 o'clock, 9 miles. Change to advisory frequency approved. Report cancellation of IFR or missed approach this frequency. Have a good evening.
Change to advisory frequency approved. Report cancellation of IFR. Good evening. So common traffic advisory frequency. Here we go. We are away from the controllers now. So it's somewhere over there, around the corner. Let's have a look at the... So we need to come in, swooping around this corner. Hopefully we'll get visuals on it before too long.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our final approach into Chagual. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Ensure your tray tables are put away, your seats are in their full upright position, and your seat belts are fastened. I kindly ask the crew to check that everyone is seated and has fastened their seat belts. Thank you for your cooperation. Captain, cabin is ready.
There's the runway. What an approach. I have to remember this one. This is spectacular, isn't it? So, do we go left side of the boulder here, or go around the back of it with a steep drop? I think we have to go this side, don't we? And go for the lowest route in over the hilltop. So we're fully configured for landing, by the way. Oh my word. How on earth? We may have to go around you now. No, there's no way. Not from this angle. The only way is to come in from the opposite end. And maybe we could do it from low in the valley there. Okay, let's turn around. At least now we've had a look at it, we know what we're facing. So we have to come in here and do a steep turn onto the runway. Which is fine. That was a bank limit that went off then. Okay, how slow can we go? $110 knots is the limit. No, there's no way. Could we do it from the other direction? If we came along that valley, we could maybe do it. That's if we get out of here. We're accelerating, but we're also going to hit the tree line. This is going to be dodgy. Going for the gap. We may have to divert, you know. Yeah, we're fine. That was unintentionally exciting. So, what's the alternative? I don't think there is one, is there? Unless we fly massively out of our way. Right, here we go again. So we're coming back in. So we need to get low and slow on this corner. Okay, there's the airfield, so we'll stay right. We're too fast. Fall, you silly aeroplane. Full reverse. Full brakes. I can't believe we made it. That was terrifying. But the reason I wanted to come in here is this looks like a really nice airfield. Might need a clean pair of trousers though, hey. Have they got a bar? Can we go and get a stiff drink? So we've all found a new challenge. How to come and land an aeroplane. Look at the terrain view. Quite how we made it out of there. And just, you know, found a route out through the top of the hill. Yeah, that was more luck than judgment. It's really cool though, isn't it? So let's see how we go about shutting the aeroplane down, which I've not done yet. So we want the APU on so we don't lose power immediately, so we can go and put the master switch on for the APU. Although saying that, even though obviously there shouldn't be one here, if we put the tablet back on, we can go to ground services and put the ground power in place, and then we can switch on ground power here. And then we don't need the APU, and then we can just come back here and shut the throttles off. And then work our way around turning things off. So avionics can come off, ICAS can come off. We'll leave the batteries on for the moment. Go and turn all the lights off. And then, yeah, we can just go cold and dark after that. And then go and climb out of the airplane and never get in an airplane ever again. There we go. And then open the main door. We saved everybody. Nobody was injured. There you go. We made it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, I haven't tried taking off from here before, so I can't imagine that's going to be an easy exercise. I imagine you do a steep right turn, and that would make it easy. Because, yeah, the same route we came in, look. Steep right turn and follow the river. It's a bit of a Star Wars kind of route, but it should be alright. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm going to go and cough myself to pieces in a minute. You can probably hear I've got a bit of a tickle going on in my throat. I don't know whether that was stress-induced. I might go and watch that back myself in a moment and enjoy. But yeah, that was good fun. We got down in one piece, which is the main thing. I don't think, yeah, you might have to tractor this aeroplane out of here. I'm not sure if you would be able to get it off the runway. Unless you ran it up to full throttle on the brakes or something. Which I'm not going to try and do. Anyway, see you all soon. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That was entertaining. Take care.